with maniacal laughter. It's always kind of funny to read, evil laughter, as text form, as it's now time for Act number 5. Now, as we are getting closer, at the end of this level will actually be the final member of the Malice 4 that we'll have to deal with, and he'll reveal a little bit more of storyline to us. So now our goal is to not only get out of this cave that we've been dropped into, but work our way back up to the tower to the top of it to try to prevent the boss from being able to summon the great monster, but try to get up there before it's too late. Now it is interesting, kind of like the whole history, like the whole thing about Ninja Gaiden. Now you have like the NES trilogy, and we know the new games in the series for the Xbox and the Xbox 360. But this game came from an arcade port of like a classic beat 'em up that was actually a 2-player game, and they kind of took that and they turned it in to the Ninja Gaiden that we have on the NES. Tecmo, only has a few franchises, but they did something also similar with Rygar. They had an arcade port of it, and then they made the NES game, which was pretty much, had the core things the same, but the game, the storyline and a lot of the gameplay was changed up a bit. It was kind of also, interesting what they did. I mean, Tecmo has never had a whole lot of big name franchises. They've had Ninja Gaiden, Monster Rancher. They've also, Rygar only has 2 games really in the franchise. The NES game, you have the arcade game, but the only other one is then like the PS2 game, which they are still working on porting over to the Nintendo Wii. Seemingly it's taken a lot longer than expected. And they've had the Tecmo Bowl series, one of the best football games on the NES, which they are reviving very soon for the Nintendo DS. But it's interesting that there's a couple of franchises they took the arcade game, ported it, but made it a different style gameplay. I assume different people worked on each one of the games. But Tecmo has always been a solid company. It's interesting to see that they're still around, but I know they're in troubling times right now. Their other big franchise, dead or alive. I know the creator of which, along with the creator of the Ninja Gaiden series, or one of the main people in charge of the Ninja Gaiden series, has left Tecmo, and we'll see if they'll be able to recover from that. As I will scale up this wall and continue on, the wide range of enemies that you fight throughout these games has always been pretty unique. The fact you're fighting, eagles mixed with army men, random soldiers, and then you have other ninjas and all that are trying to take you out. Kind of a really weird mix. Some of the sprites looked like they were taken. Some of them looked like just out of like either Castlevania or Metal Gear. Just weird amount of sprites. And then you have those guys with the weird pumpkin-esque things on their head. I don't know what exactly they're supposed to represent. Now here is our final boss battle with the Malice 4. This is the leader of the Malice 4. This is Mouth. And he's not only going to, be a boss battle, he's also going to explain some of the storyline to us before the battle begins. Now this boss is challenging. You're gonna take damage in it, so the best thing is to get up close and start swiping as fast. Just keep swiping as fast as possible. If you want to use the turbo button, it can be very useful. But if you do not have full health going into the battle, it's very challenging to try to defeat Mouth. Another way to do so is if you have one of the other items is a spinning sword attack, where when you'll jump in the air, like you'll have the blade that'll come out of all ends. And if you have that move, you can jump like at him, like jump over his head or jump at his head, and it'll spin through and do a ton of damage to him and take him out without even doing any damage to you. That's like kind of the easiest way to take him out. I'm trying to do it like not the hardest way, but I guess kind of maybe the way it was intended. But you can definitely, if you're having trouble with that battle, use that spinning jump move to take him out. Now in that little cutscene, he explained to us that our father, who we thought died in that duel at the beginning of the game, the prologue, is actually still alive. So now it kind of adds another little twist to the storyline. So not only are we now trying to prevent the demon from there, the ultimate evil, from being resurrected, we're also now trying to find our father. Now this is Act number 6. This is the easily the hardest level in the entire game. It's also one of the longest levels. Pretty much is the longest level in the game. And it ends with this epic, became the staple of the Ninja Gaiden games. You have not just one boss battle, but you actually have multiple final boss battles that all are very challenging to deal with, and all have a certain way you're supposed to defeat them, or at least they are much more challenging than just run up and attack them as quick as possible, just duck and swipe. You have to actually do some movement and all, or know where you're attacking, certain things to specifically attack in the boss battles. Right there was a good example of, the knockback. At that time I was able to save myself, because I was able to just get knocked back right against the wall, but there's guns and all, and the enemies, especially the flying ones, it's always good to know what's behind you. If you have a wall right behind you, and you're going to make one of those leaps of faith, hopefully if you're going to get hit by something, at least you'll get knocked back onto a wall, so you'll climb onto it, or hang onto it. Or at least have a platform that you'll be knocked back onto. As you can see, I'm taking a lot of damage. Thankfully, there is a health upgrade in this level to refill my health a little bit. But this is one of those levels where it's very, very challenging to try to get through it without taking any damage. Heck, beating it is enough of a challenge. As we are now in the next part of the level, as you can see the weird statues with the hands and the eyes on them as we make it farther into this temple. Axe throwing guys and the gun turret guys as we work our way up. We are actually nearing the final boss battle. We're actually close to the final room. Watching out for any enemies, trying not to take any extra hits if I don't need to before making it to there. I got the boomerang shuriken again. I just grabbed an hourglass there, which is the first time you've seen it. Freezes everything in its place, so you can take out enemies easier, but it only really is in a few places in the game, and it's never really quite where it would be the most useful to have. There we go, there was my health upgrade. Wait for a perfect timing, wait, there we go. Jump over the bullet and take him out. Had to wait for my best time to be able to take him out. It's kind of like some of the items are a little bit confusing. You actually have two shurikens, one that's like the boomerang one, and one you just kind of like throw out as a basic projectile. But here we go with the final, building up to the final battle, the final cutscenes before the final boss. So we have now found our dad, but he's now under some kind of weird trance, weird spell, and he actually now wants, to kill us, and now we have to kind of figure out what can we do. Now we got to face our dad, and this is one of those first unique boss battles, because you gotta, you're not just attacking the main enemy, you're actually attacking this crystal in the center of the room that they're showing now, and you have to take that out, and that is where the health meter is located. This is a very difficult battle to deal with. Him just walking back and forth is a pain enough, because the way he has swords stick out, they can do damage to you as he walks underneath. Pretty much my strategy for it is to move to the right or to the left of the screen, jump as far up the wall as you can. As he gets all the way over, jump over him and try to do damage to the crystal in the center of the room before he gets too close. Try to take it out now. There we go. you know, repeat back and forth until he's taken care of. But that's the easiest way I think I've found in order to take him out. Now that the trance has now been broken on our father, we now have a heartwarming moment where we get to see father and son reunite for the first time after Ryu had thought his father actually perished in that duel. And the moment couldn't last, as the final boss shoots out a ball of light, this projectile weapon. The dad heroically walks in front in order to take damage, and now Ryu has finally lost in it. Now it's time for the final showdown. Ryu against the main boss of the game, Jackio, or whatever you want to pronounce it.